Hello. In our series of metaphysical poets, today I bring to you a second poet named John Donne and his wonderful work, The Sun Rising. John Donne is 1572 to 1631. His poetry, like I said, metaphysical poets always took examples to the extreme. So his poetry as well reflects these extreme in metaphors. And why metaphysical? Some people say Samuel Butler gave them this name, not in a very positive sense, but in making fun of them because they would bring two very different things together and then try to see similarities within them, thereby making fun of both of the things that were being compared. For example, John Donne compares a pair of lovers to a compass. And in this particular poem, it is personifying the sun, treating the heavenly body of sun as someone that you're speaking to, which gives rise to the metaphor or the metaphysical conceit in this particular work. Now, if you look at the time period 1572 to 1631, it is only in 1520s that Christopher Columbus has died or Ferdinand Magellan has died. It's just a few years later that, half a century later, that John Donne comes into being. And this is the Renaissance Europe where maritime activity, where colonization, and where new discoveries and the spirit of the age, these sort of things are at their hilt. So you see the reflection of these in his poetry. You see the reflection of the ideas that must have been prevalent in those times in the lines that he writes. And some people say that metaphysical poets were named metaphysical because they took these scientific discoveries and tried to link them to stories, imageries, metaphors in their poetry. You can take your own sense from this, but we will just try and read this poem called The Sun Rising. And I said here that this is the time when Britain is going out to colonize other countries, and John Donne is a poet in England. He later shall become a priest there, though he shall keep scandalizing people with his bold style of writing. So this is the England where from the East India Company will set out and colonize, say, India. So the reference to India that is made here, and also the fact that spices were to be taken from India back to England, these are all very contextual ideas, very contextual themes that John Donne takes in his poetry and weaves them together. And I keep saying in my lectures here that a poet belongs to his context, his space, and his time. And it is through these signs that you then make out that, okay, this is what was temporal to him at that point in time, and that is why it makes its way into his poetry. So, The Sun Rising. The scenario of the poem is such that John Donne and his beloved are in bed, and they're just waking up after an amorous night of lovemaking, and the poet is very unhappy. Why is the sun here to wake us up? We don't want to wake up yet. We don't want to get out of our beds. He should go and disturb other people. Why is he here to wake us up? And this is his conversation with the sun. Busy old fool, unruly sun. The poem begins at a line where the poet or the protagonist in the poem of the poet is insulting the sun. Busy old fool, unruly sun, why dost thou thus through windows and through curtains call on us? Why do you in this way, thus in this way, through windows and through curtains call on us? You're coming. And my curtains are not able to keep you out, my windows are not able to keep you out, but you're here, right here to disturb us. Must to thy motions lovers' seasons run? You will decide when lovers would rise and when lovers would sleep. Lovers should obey the course of things that you are obeying. Saucy, pedantic wretch. Go chide. Now he calls him saucy, that you're interested in what is happening between us and you've come to see, gather some gossip. Pedantic, you're always on time and you're always very particular about things. Such particularity is not what lovers would really welcome. And then he calls him a wretch. Saucy, pedantic wretch. Go chide late school boys and sore pretenses. If you really have to bother people, then please go and bother school-going boys who are late for school, or apprentices who are running to their master's workshop and maybe they are late, or maybe they have a grudge against the master, so he calls them sour apprentices. Go tell court huntsmen that the king will ride. If you have to bother, go and bother those people who have to stand in duty, stand in attendance to the king. Why are you bothering us? Call country ants to harvest offices. And if you have to wake up ants. When you rise, the world rises and shines and everybody gets to their work. So maybe you rising should be a call to the ants to get to their work and they should start harvesting offices, he says here, but basically to say that the ants will go around and build their own castles. Love, all alike, no season knows nor clime. Love doesn't know any season or any climate, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time. Love doesn't know hours or days or months, these are the rags of time. Love is free from any such bondage, any such limitation in the temporal scale. Love doesn't obey these rules. Busy old fool, unruly sun, why dost thou thus, through windows and through curtains, call in us? Must to thy motions lovers' seasons run? Saucy pedantic wretch, go chide late school boys and summer apprentices. Go tell court huntsmen that the king will ride. Call country ants to harvest offices. Love all alike. No season knows nor clime, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time. Thy beams, so reverend and strong, why shouldest thou think? You're not listening to me? You're not giving a thought to what I'm saying to you because you have such mighty sunbeams. They go and light up everything that they have to. So why should you listen to me? Thy beams, so reverend and strong, why shouldest thou think? But give it a thought, my dear son. I could eclipse and cloud them with a wink. If I were to shut my eyes, I can eclipse your strong beams. I can simply close my eyes and keep the sun out. But that I would not lose her sight for so long. So the poet is saying, or the protagonist of the poem is saying, that you may think that your beams are very strong, that they can spread light anywhere, but let me tell you that all I need to do is a wink. All I need to do is shut my eyes for a little while and I can shut you out, shut your beams out. But the problem is I wouldn't shut my eyes because I don't want to take my eyes off my beloved. But that I would not lose her sight for long, so long, if her eyes have not blinded thine. Look, and tomorrow late tell me. Now he's telling the sun that if the beauty of my beloved eyes, if the light, the energy, the spirit emanating from her eyes has not blinded you, then go. Do everything and tomorrow come back and tell me. Go see the world. And then he uses a word here, late. Tomorrow late, tell me. Tomorrow late, take your time. Spend the whole day tomorrow, go research and then come back and tell me if already my beloved's eyes beauty has not blinded you, then go do your research. Tomorrow come back late and tell me whether both the Indias of spice and mine be where thou leftest them or lie here with me. Both the Indias of spice and mine. Here, the India of spice is very evident, the country of India, the Indian spices which were to be taken from here through our ports and sent back to London or to England where the colonizers stayed, and the Indias of mine. There could be two references here. One, there is a possibility that since India was a colony, everything in the east could be referred to as India, and therefore they're referring maybe to some parts which have mines but are not called India, but also reference could be the mines in the West Indies, the islands that you hit just before you hit America, and that also were to be colonized or were being explored by explorers from Europe. So these were the places from where the diamonds were coming, from where the other goods were being quarried from the mines. So he's saying that both the Indias of spice and mine, now this is the colonizer's reference here, and this is what I said belongs to the time of John Donne, that he is actually saying that my country is going out and getting the riches from other countries to the homeland. So this reference makes its way into his poem. Another poet in another time, if chiding the sun, would have said that go and search the whole world, but you would not find a beauty equivalent to the beauty that lies here next to me. But what John Donne is telling, or the protagonist of the poem is telling the sun, is that if my beloved's eyes have yet not blinded you, you go do your research tomorrow late and come and tell me that if the Indias of spice and mine are where you left them or they lie here with me. You would realize that my beloved is those Indias of spice and mine. She's a treasure house of everything good, rich, beautiful about the world. So this is a metaphysical conceit that you take such strong metaphors. He's calling his beloved the India of both spice and mind, as if she has all the riches in the world possible. Whether both the Indias of spice and mind be where thou leftest them, or lie here with me. Ask for those kings whom thou saw'st yesterday, and thou shalt hear, all here in one bed lay. If you meet any kings around the world, you would realize they're all here in one bed with me. Now again, look at this. First, he compares his beloved to the Indias of spice and mind, and then he says that all kingdoms of the world are waste when it comes to her. They don't match up. My beloved is the treasure house of all happiness, of all beauty, of all love, and of all material treasures as well. And therefore, he tells the sun that if you were to ask for all those kings that you saw yesterday, you would realize that all here in one bed lay. All the kingdoms of the world here in one bed are with me when my beloved is with me. This is how much he loves her, and this is how much he treasures her. She's all states and all princes. I, nothing else is. He's saying she's all the states possible in the world, all the kingdoms possible in the world, and all the princes. And then there is I, and there is absolutely nothing else. This is our world. These are all the riches, all the treasures, anything that I would want for me is right here. She's all the kingdoms for me, she's all the riches for me, she's all the Indias for me. She's all states and all princes, I, nothing else is. Nothing else exists for lovers. They're so lost in each other's embrace, each other's love. Princes do but play us compared to this. All honors mimic, all wealth alchemy. And he's saying, princes might still use us, play us, might still abuse us, or in that sense, we might still be subjugated to them or be at their mercy. And compared to the love that I have here, all honors mimic. No honor in the world matches up. Everything is just mockery. Everything is just something which I can completely ignore. And all wealth alchemy. Everything that you accumulate, you have to do it through a series of very difficult experiments. Alchemy is a laboratory procedure through which you can get gold at the end. And he says that everything else pales in comparison to this treasure of love that I have in my bed right here, right now. Princes do but play us. Compared to this, all honors mimic, all wealth alchemy. All the wealth that these princes accumulate and all the honor that they have is a joke. Thou sun art half as happy as we in that the world's contracted thus. So he's telling the sun now that even if you think you're happy, you can not be happy more than what we are. You're only half as happy as we are. Thine age asks ease, and since thy duties be to warm the world, that's done in warming us. He's saying you're old, and your age demands that you take things easy, that you relax in life. So if your duty is to warm the world, well, your duty is done in warming us. Why? Because the entire world is here. So in taking one shot at us, in shooting out one of your beams at us, you are done. Your duty for the day is done, so now please go. And then he again expands this metaphysical conceit in saying that my bed and my beloved in this room that we have is the entire world. Look at how he takes this metaphor further. Shine here to us, and thou art everywhere. He's telling the sun, if you shine upon us here in this room, then you are everywhere. Thou, you, art, A-R-E-R, then you are everywhere. This bed thy center is, these walls thy sphere. This bed is your center and the walls of this room your sphere, where you have to take a revolution. This is where you belong. So all the world is here, and this is where you are, and you can encircle us, shower us with your light, and your duty is done. So what all conceits did we see here? 1, the personification of the sun. 2, the comparison of the beloved to the Indias of spice and mind, to all the kingdoms of the world, to all the princesses of these kingdoms, or the princes of these kingdoms. And then also he says that the entire world is here, and this room is your sphere, dear sun. Is the place where you should take your revolutions. You know, this is also the age when these ideas are for the first time being debated. Does the earth move around the sun, Or does the sun move around the earth? What moves around what? Such scientific discoveries are yet to be laid down in black and white. And this is the time when Renaissance achievements, Renaissance science is constantly being discussed in everybody's living room. And that is why John Donne brings these discussions to his poetry as well and gives them the form of such extreme metaphors, which I said are called metaphysical conceits. So, the sun rising for you. Thank you.